right, everybody. My name's Evan, also known as the Pidge from Styles Over Radio. And today I'm interviewing Shayne from Styles Over Radio. You might have
Hey,
seen him from other shows. And Shayne, which shows are those?
I'm on the Rebel Radio Show every Monday 5 to 7 on CBW Radio. You can check us out there, or on stylesrebelradio.com. You can find all of our shows. But then I'm also on Off Air too. It comes out bi-monthly, twice a month. I don't know if bi-monthly means like once every 2 months or twice a month, but twice it comes out. You can listen to it every month. Off Air, Styles Rebel
Bi-weekly.
Radio,
Yeah,
bi-weekly. Yeah.
yeah, bi-weekly. Yeah, that was a lot better. That was a lot better than me when I was doing my interview. I didn't even you gave the exact times right on the
I
money. But
I
I just
hear
said
him.
like,
I hear him every single week. It's part of the script. I'm so used to it now.
oh yeah, it's part,
You know.
part of everything.
Yeah. For
So
Mondays 5 to 7.
nice. And what do you usually talk about on those shows?
Um, I like to describe it as like the goofy side of modern news. Like whatever the fluff stories would be that they would give the new news anchors that they're like, oh, I hate this story. It's about the world's largest cookie. And I have to report on it. I want the big news. I want to talk about the crime and the murder. See, we're the opposite. We like to talk about the world's biggest cookie and stuff like that. So it's an assortment of fluff pieces that are, a little bit more lighthearted and easy to hear and fun to talk about, as opposed to the more serious stuff that seems to be flooded in modern day news.
Right, and that's for Styles Over Radio,
Yep.
right?
Rebel
Yeah,
Radio
and for off
Show.
air.
Off air is kind of just a bunch of bullshit, honestly. It started because I had a show called Culturally Relevant on StylesRebelRadio.com, and I felt like every time I was coming in to record, me and Style would just bullshit on the mics for like 20 minutes beforehand and afterwards. And so I was like, why don't we just make that a show? Like, why don't we just make us bullshitting and like, talking as if we were talking off air, on a show? And
Nice.
Jordan
And how
liked.
long ago did that start?
That was maybe. Has it been a year already of off air? I feel like it's been a year, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less.
Nice.
Yeah.
I highly recommend anybody to go listen to both of those. Both of those shows are
Yeah.
they're really entertaining. And if you don't also know, Shayne is also one of the writers for some of the blogs on Styles Over Radio.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
can you name some of the titles that you have?
Professional Opinions is probably one of my favorites. And then I'm a huge rap fan. I love hip hop and stuff like that. So I did an article called 10 Times MF Doom Proved He Had Mastered the English Language. That one I'm really proud of too. That's just a fun piece on some of my favorite MF Doom lyrics. It's a good one. Yeah, I'd say that those are probably my two favorites. I think I did two professional opinions, and then I did the MF Doom one. So, and again, you can check all these out at stylesrubberradio.com.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I know I just asked you what got you really kind of into off air, but what got you mainly into the whole radio thing, into the whole podcasting thing?
It was Style, honestly. Style or Jordan, he approached me about writing writing the blogs, like we were just talking about, and because we had taken a journalism class together in high school, and he liked what I was like. He thought that what I was writing was funny, and then so he hit me up 2019, like end of 2019 going into 2020, maybe early 2020, and I think it was December of 2019 to be exact, but he asked me to write blogs for him, and then I was writing blogs for a little bit, and he asked me to guest on the podcast, and I guested twice. I did the Christmas special, and I did one other, I believe. And then after my second time guesting, he asked me if I wanted to be co-host, and I took the job because it's a great opportunity. So it was really all Style. I mean, I've always had a passion for pursuing something in the media field, I guess, but this was very like serendipitous blessing sort of thing where Style just kind of swooped in and was like, "Hey, here's an opportunity for you," and I scooped it up as quickly as possible. So Yeah, I mean, partially my own passion, but then also a great deal of help from Jordan/Style. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Nice, man. And what were you doing before it? Like, were you just kinda just writing on your own? Were you kinda just BSing?
Yeah, I mean, I was doing like a little bit of writing, like personal writing and stuff, but nothing. I wasn't like. That's the thing is like I wasn't too hugely invested in the media. I had so when Jordan hit me up, I had like literally a month before that dropped out of college because I was like, I'm just not a college like school isn't for me. I'm not a school person, and I decided that it would be probably a financially sound decision if I got out of school. And so I was kind of just floating for like it was very soon after I dropped out. I want to say like 2-3 months maybe, and then he hit me up, and I've known Jordan all my life, and again, like I said, pursuing something in the media field, like I was going to college for journalism anyway. So just pursuing anything in the media field was like a no brainer, and then this opportunity happened to come across my desk, and I was like, hell yeah, dude, like, let's totally do this. So
That's awesome. And do
yeah.
you think radio still kinda has the impact that it, like, used to? Or do you think it's changing somewhere to get more towards, like, podcast
Ooh,
form?
that's a
Do
really
you
good.
think podcasts should make it on radio stations? Or what do you think? Like, you think FM should have some podcasts now?
Right, that's a really good question. I really enjoy that question. Because it's a tough one. It's like I think that there is still impact in radio. I think the impact radio had was much louder before. It was much bigger before. Even go back, let's say like 10 years ago, a radio was still maybe not 10 years ago, maybe like 15, 20 years ago now. I forget it's 2023. It's been so long, but um, I think in terms of is there room for podcasting on like FM radio or podcasts on FM radio? Yes. Yeah. I think they kind of go hand in hand. And it's more like, I think the question is more of like the internet versus listening to radio in your car. People
Right.
will much rather plug in their phone to their car and listen to whatever they listen to like that, as opposed to I'm just gonna click on the radio and see what's on. There's more control there, and so I think there is room for podcasts on radio, and I think that might like give an edge to radio almost. That might be like, okay, well, we also have this now too. We also have podcasts on our station now too. So that's another reason why you should check us out, sort of thing. Like just another big selling point. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I
Yeah,
think
because we have talk radio and stuff, but that's really not as popular as, like, nearly as unpopular as just normal podcasts when it comes to Spotify.
right,
And
right,
I think it would be awesome because there's way more people than a lot of people realize that actually listen to podcasts all the time
yeah,
than you think.
yeah,
Especially people that are getting towards, like, their I mean, it starts in their early 20s a lot of times, and then once they start hitting a little more getting a little bit older, they just start getting tired of hearing the same, music playlists over and over again,
right,
and the
right,
radio plays the same shit a lot of times, when it comes to FM.
right. Yeah, no, that is a
Uh,
good point of like you're in your 20s and you want to listen to your music in the car and stuff, and then as I feel like at least in my own personal life, I notice it more with like 30 to 40 demographic is like those are the people that get really big into podcasts and they're like, "Oh, I just found this new podcast that you should listen to." And I think it's probably pretty exactly to your point of they're just getting tired of what they have on their phone or what they're hearing on the radio constantly. So, yeah, that's a very interesting point. And I do think that there is room for like radio to make a resurgence in terms of like how impactful it is on society, because I feel like before, like I said, 20-30 years ago even, it was like people were getting their news from the radio. You had to listen to the radio if you wanted to know what was going on, and if you're in Ohio and in California or something like that, you had to listen to the radio, or at least if you weren't watching the news, you were listening to the radio to get that news set or that same news. So I think something like bringing podcasts into the FM radio world would kind of cultural shift, bring radio back to potentially back to where it was before.
Yeah. It would especially make it different too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would definitely make a lot of things different because a lot of people don't trust a lot of news stations now, especially recently.
Right.
So,
Right. And it's a
it
thing too of like I feel like radio was like the first or one of the first mediums where people followed that station or followed that channel, whatever, for the personalities. And so, like, if you know, have a podcast with your favorite, I don't know, favorite wrestler or something like that, right? You're going to be more inclined to favor their radio show over and like their opinion and be like, okay, I'm going to get my news from, I know that this guy does this show at this time. I'm going to listen to him because I know that it's not just some news anchor talking head. It's this guy that I've followed his career and I like him. I like his takes, you know, like I think bringing the personality back to talk radio and bringing the personality back to like, or like bringing in big personalities with podcasts and stuff like that onto a medium like talk radio would even more so bring more people back to, you know, listening.
Yeah, I agree as well. And it would especially be nice with people that, I mean, they drive for a living or people that fly for a living
Right. Right.
or
Because that's the
having
thing.
those radio stations on because, a lot of people, they don't wanna, like, look up a podcast while they're driving on their phone. If
That's
they just switch through the channels and they know exactly which time it comes on, they can listen to, like there's a lot of truck drivers in America,
right.
especially that they listen to a lot of podcasts. I think they're probably one of the top percent people that listen.
Yeah. No, 100%. I was about to, I agree 110%. I think that it would be a lot easier, the ease of access for people like you said, like the biggest demos or like the truck drivers and the people who fly and drive for a living. If you could make it easier for them so that they don't have to go onto their phone and unlock their phone, go to Spotify, scroll through, find their podcast, find the specific, you know, like I think if you made it easier for them to just turn the knob and you'll be at the station and you know what time it starts because it starts at this time I think that would be a lot easier. It'd be a lot like I don't know how to word this. It'd be a lot more like well received, I guess.
Yeah, and people definitely need it more. That's what I think so. But
Mm-hmm.
if you were to have a station, I know this might seem like a stupid question considering you have off air and you work, you're with Rebel Radio. But if you were to have a station
Mm-hmm.
like on FM radio, you know how they have like 97.5 The Vibe.
Right.
Would yours just be like whatever number and then off air or something like that too?
Mm.
Or
Mm. Mm. I think okay. So my nickname for a long time was Cozy. I think
okay,
I would call it like 69.5 the Coes. I'd call
the
it
Co's.
the
Yeah,
Coes.
I see it.
I think that's a good one. I like that.
That's pretty good, dude. That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
I would tune into it.
What
But
would
I'm a little biased too because I'm here with the Rebel Radio show. So,
what
but
would if you had to make your own number and title, what would you call yours? Just curious.
I don't know why my first instinct was to go to Easy Pete, but that wasn't
Hey, I
that's
like
not
it.
what it's
I
gonna
like
be.
it.
But but for an
Sit
exact number, I still really just like I think it would just be the whole, like HOLE.
the whole.
So yeah, like the pigeonhole, how it would be like
Okay, yeah, yeah. No, I see
that would
that.
be like 70.3, the whole,
I
or
like that.
something like that.
You're
Yeah.
tuning into the whole.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like that.
Could you say that you've had any hardest part of getting into radio, and then you'd have like the easiest part about getting into radio?
Okay, okay. Hardest part of getting into radio, probably the anxiety of it all, right? Like it's like I said, I wasn't really doing this before Style Jordan offered me this opportunity. So like it was all very new and like daunting to me. It was very much like not culture shock, but you know, I was definitely like, whoa, okay, this is a new lifestyle that I'm, partaking in. And it was kind of more so like I remember there was a couple early shows where Jordan would throw to me to talk about the next segment, and I like froze. I like
Yeah.
would like I just was like locked in fear. And obviously they Style and Jules help me get through those situations. I have co-hosts that can kind of help me get through those situations if I need to, but which is awesome. I'm very grateful for that. But like I think it was definitely the anxiety of it all at first was the hardest thing to get over, of like, okay, I have to talk now and I have to sound clear and concise and I have to make sense and I have to be quippy and fun, like it it feels like there's a lot on the line, but I've kind of learned to just like just just it sounds so dumb and like cop out answery, but like I just bullshit it all. I just like take it all as if it's not that big of a deal, and I'm just, like for the listeners at home, I've known Evan. We've known each other arguably all of a good portion of our lives. We've known each other. And so like, yeah, doing an interview or interviewing someone is a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's like, okay, I know Evan, like, Evan knows me. There's that human aspect of it all, of like, well, if I mess up or if you mess up, it's not it's not the end of the world at all. Like, we're fine. We're buddy. We're friends, like it doesn't have to be like, oh my God, I have to say
Yeah.
something now and it has to be,
Yeah, because it's HR interviewing you right now. Like, there's
fuck, I hope I get
yeah.
that pay raise.
Yeah.
But then
But
easiest part, what easiest part would probably be, I think it's kind of the same, it's going to be the same answer for both, but it's like the talking with you guys. I think it's just really nice to be able to talk with you guys about shit, because like we're all very similar people, we all experience, like I feel like, so you can check it out at styleswebradio.com, but there we had 2 episodes with you on. We had the Pidge on, and it was awesome. It felt like that was probably my favorite recording session, just because of how comfortable I felt talking with you guys and just shooting the shit, like it wasn't, we got like, a couple hours of content with that, and it didn't really feel like we were doing much of anything. We were just talking. And so I feel like easiest part is hanging out with you guys and talking with my friends on the radio, essentially. It's more fun than anything.
I was telling my girlfriend before we started recording this that, I was gonna get interviewed by Jules, and then I was gonna interview you,
Mm-hmm.
and my girlfriend was like, "Well, that should be easy. Both of you like to talk a lot." So I was like, "Oh, okay, word." But
Right.
it's
Right. Right. Yeah, no, that's the thing, is like, it's just easy to, I don't know, it's just easy to shoot the shit with you guys. I feel like we know each other, pretty well. And so it's like, and again, like I said, we have similar interests. It's just, we've known each other. Like, there's a lot of factors that add into like, yeah, I'm just literally talking with an old friend about, whatever we feel like talking about. There's no real
right,
rhyme or reason. It's just, we're hanging out,
right, just bullshit.
Right.
It's always fun. It's always just entertaining to hear, even if it's other people doing it too. I mean, that's why people love podcasts.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. And I think that's maybe too, that's another big factor into it, is like I was just saying, I've known you guys, good portion of my life, and so I think that kind of resonates through the sound, like through how we talk and stuff like that. Is like, listeners at home are like, oh yeah, I can tell these guys are old friends. They're like, I can tell these guys are just having fun. Like, the vibe, for lack of a better term, comes across very seamlessly because of how seamlessly we can all talk to each other in our real lives without there being microphones and cameras and stuff like that, right?
right, right. It's definitely super nice. I mean, it is hard for me being out here in Arizona, but
I know.
it's super awesome still to be a part of this radio show, to actually get to interview and still be part of the community, even though I'm so
Right.
far away. I'm across the country.
I don't know if
But
I don't know if I ever texted you this or sent you a message about this, and I meant to, because I told Jordan this multiple times, but after you left, I was like, damn, like that was really fun having Evan here, having you on the show, having you on the Rebel Radio Show, and then doing off air, and then doing Pigeonhole. That was a very, very fun experience for me, just to have. I mean, I know it doesn't seem like much, but like to have you there made it.
fun for me being there too.
Yeah, no, it was a good time, and I'm really glad that you got to be there. I enjoy I enjoy when we get to shoot the shit for a little. I enjoy these kind of talks and stuff. It's fun.
Well, thanks, man. Well,
Of course.
with serious questions,
Mm-hmm.
what's your favorite animal?
Ooh. I don't know if this would count as an animal, but I love frogs, man. I love frogs. I've always had an innate. I don't know. I don't like picking them up and holding them. I know there are a lot of people that like are very okay with just like scooping up a frog off the ground and holding it. For whatever reason, that icks me a little bit. I'm like, ew, slimy froggy. But like, I fucking love frogs, dude. I will run up to a frog and just stare at it, or like anytime I see a frog, try to like take a picture of it or something. I love frogs.
That's funny, dude. That's
They're
noted.
they're good. They're good little amphibians. Amphibians? They're amphibians?
Yeah, amphibians.
Cool.
Now a follow-up question to that
Right.
is that I've asked Style this one before, and it's a goofy one I came up with at work. But if you were a dead animal on the side of a highway, which one would you be?
Ooh. I like that too. Um I feel like I don't know. I wanted to say like a raccoon or something like that at first, or like maybe a skunk, but I think a possum maybe. They play dead, you know? Like you
Oh
can't
yeah,
tell if they're actually dead or not. Is it just frozen there or is it actually dead? I think I might be a possum, you know? Maybe I'm just pretending, you know? You never know.
yeah. My answer to that is I'd love to be like a weird aquatic animal. I'd like to be like a
That'd be
I
awesome.
like to be like a squid on like the middle
Yeah,
street of like
yeah.
Mexico City.
That'd
You
be
know?
so good. That would be amazing. It's like driving by, like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah,
Is that a
right.
squid on the side of the road? What?
I'd be like, what the fuck is that? You know?
We're in Utah right now.
Yeah.
What is that doing here? That's funny. That's a
It's
good one.
always one of my weird go-to questions. It's
Fuck,
just
that's
so
a
out
really
of the
good
blue.
answer though. That's a very good answer.
All right. I think this is concluding the interview. I have one more question for you,
Rock and roll.
and it's actually I'll give you. Oh no, I'll ask this.
Yeah.
It's, have you ever heard of Huey Lewis and the News? Fuck, Huey Lewis and the News.
I've never heard of Huey Lewis and the Lose, but
Oh
they
yeah,
sound great.
watch that one.
Yeah, yeah. No, you're fine. Uh, I have. So Huey Lewis, I've only like for a long time I had only ever heard of Huey Lewis through Style, and then I looked him up one night, like literally just a week or two ago, and I found out that like he married his cousin and she was like young, and apparently he was like kind of a weirdo
Roll
beardo.
Tide.
Yeah, hey, roll tide, baby. I mean, I'm not dissing the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just did some research about him. I mean, not enough, but I know that he was like early adapter of rock and roll, right? Like that was kind of one of his sticks. Or am I
Yeah,
completely wrong?
I would say, yeah. I mean, he was rock and roll has been around a while, but he definitely is up there.
He's an
I
early
think he was
rocker.
definitely one of those that could be considered one hit wonders, but you know,
Oh, when was like his time?
like mid to like it was like 80s
Eight.
time.
Oh, maybe I'm. Yeah, no, I'm completely wrong. I'm thinking of someone else. But um, what's the song? Maybe I
It's hip
maybe I
to be
don't know it.
square.
Which one?
It's hip to be square. It's hip to be square.
Maybe.
Maybe
Maybe.
no.
I'm not a big. I don't. Huey. I don't know. Sounds like it's not my. I don't know the name. Huey. What kind of name is that?
Huey. I don't know, man.
It's a good name, I guess. Actually, Huey would be a fun name to have.
That, I guess, yeah, like a Huey attack chopper.
Oh,
But,
whoa.
yeah,
I was thinking
but
just like
all right,
a little boy. My name's Huey.
yeah, that's awesome. But all right, this concludes this interview. I am Evan, also known as the Pidge, and I was joined by Shayne from Off Air and from Styles Over Radio. You
Thanks
can
for
see him
interviewing.
all the time. He said it again on the times. If you want to give those times again,
Yeah, that's it's every Monday, 5 to 7 on CBW Radio, and then I guess what bi-weekly, every month on stylesrubberradio.com. You can catch me on off air as well.
yeah, there you go. So everybody, make sure to tune in. Thank you again, Shayne.
Oh, thank you for the interview. It was awesome. It was great to shoot the
All right.
shit for a little bit, hang out.
Yeah, man. All right. Look up some Huey Lewis and the Lou.
I'll look them up. I'll look up the newest and the lose. See how the lose is doing.
Yeah, yeah, do that. So